Yeah, now I can also see the record button in my window.
So at least, yeah, that's good.
Good.
Okay, yeah. Hello, Carsten. Thank you for joining for this interview.
Yeah, I'm very honored.
Yeah, so I'm starting this kind of like new podcast, and you came up with an awesome name, and I'm gonna use it. Speak Your Truth, and it's about listening and meeting different people on this planet and hearing what they have to say about their view of life. Like you said, there is many kind of truths. There is my truth, your truth, and that in the middle there is the truth. I think you said in your video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's like I have my truth, you have your truth, and but there's also a reality, the whole reality or the whole truth, which expands from A to Z, and we sometimes only see a small piece of that reality.
Exactly, and that's why I think it's very important to have this kind of like non-feared opinions about life, because these days I feel many people are holding their own opinions, their own thinking inside of them, because they are very afraid that somebody might have a different opinion, and that could cause problem with them. But anyway, can you, Carsten, have a small self-introduction of yourself?
Yes, my name is Carsten, and I'm a dance teacher, photographer, and musician based in Austria. And since many years, I have a brand and a website called Moving Visual Artist, and that includes all the artistic stuff I am doing.
Yeah, very nice. Did you have a website?
Yes, it's called www.movingvisualartist, moving, and then yeah, maybe we can
yeah, put the logo in the video or something like that.
Yeah, maybe we can put the logo in the video.
I put the subscriptions anyway, like all the details and stuff like that.
That would be cool.
Yeah, people should check it out.
On this website, you can see everything that I'm doing, and yeah, starting with dance, photography, video, music stuff, and a lot has developed in the last years. So.
Oh, yeah, cool. Oh, okay. I have first just a couple of quick questions that I try to ask every guest. Yeah, let's start with the very simple things like, well, what is your favorite color?
I like black a lot when it comes down to clothing, and yeah, I think black is a color which suits me best and is combinable with lots of other colors, and therefore gives me lots of space to experiment. And if I think of a color of its own, I like dark violet and deep red. To me, they are very warm, mysterious colors, and represent spirituality as well as passion. So also the passion for my work and for what I'm doing.
Cool. Do you like ice cream?
I don't like ice cream. I love it, especially the Ben and Jerry's variations. When, for example, watching a movie at home with all this double fudge, chunky, crispy cookie dough, is addictive.
What's your favorite movie, or one of them?
I don't have a particular one, but I like thrillers with an exciting plot and a surprising ending. And that also, it's also the same with books. I don't have a favorite book, but it's with movies and books, it's the same. Thrillers with really exciting, where the end is not the thing that you thought in the beginning. So there's so many different things happening, and at the end you think, oh my god. It's surprising endings. Yeah,
that's cool. do you have like a favorite artist or art piece or something like that?
Yeah, if we talk about different art forms, I like dance, photography, film, music. It's actually the same art forms I am busy with. I could not choose a single one as my favorite, although dance takes in the biggest part of my life at the moment, and which also keeps me very healthy. And concerning the start of my career, I always refer to Michael Jackson as my favorite artist, because he was the absolute starting point and the reason why I actually began to dance. And from then on, all the other art forms I do had slowly evolved one by one.
Yeah, Michael Jackson was a huge influence in my life as
Oh,
well.
really, really, really.
Yeah, yeah. Have you ever been in love?
I've been in love so many times, and in the heartache that mostly went with it, and especially when I create choreographies, love pain has been my main motivation in the past so far, and I guess a lot of people can relate to that. Yeah, it's been the main motivation, and it's so many. I had so many the relationships in my past that broke up, and always when we came to an ending, I made one of the best choreographies. It's like the poet. There's a saying. The poet needs the pain.
Yeah, but I believe that it's true actually. Yeah. Do you watch TV and the news?
No. I don't even have a TV, and neither do I have a radio or any newspaper, because honestly, I don't trust the mainstream media. When I want to inform myself, I prefer watching documentaries made by the TV channel Arte. But these documentaries can also be found on YouTube. You don't actually need a TV for that. And recently, I discovered a very interesting digital platform called London Real, hosted by Brian Rose. On this platform, you can watch full-length, uncensored interviews of very interesting guests, and who have very inspiring things to say concerning so many topics like politics, science, healthcare, technology, education, a lot of other stuff. And I seriously recommend this platform to everybody who wants to be inspired and is interested in self-education. I can really recommend this one.
Yeah, I have watched it also a lot, but it's very interesting that these days it seems to me that many people who I believe are using more their own thinking than just receiving other people's thinking are starting to search the information about what's happening more and more throughout individual platforms, like from YouTube channels and etc. Because we could have a small talk, like, why do you think it is like that? Why is people, because I'm also like, I barely watch news anymore. Why?
Yeah, I don't know, because maybe more people are sensing that the mainstream media are direct the population's opinion too much in one direction. I think they need an alternative. And of course, when you also want to inform yourself and you say, oh, I watch a lot of YouTube, I mean, there's also a lot fake stuff on these alternative media and things where you watch the video and think, oh, this is really crap. But it challenges you to search for other channels, for other opinions, and therefore I say, okay, if you really want to be well informed, then watch Arte. there's really, really high class documentaries on that. And yeah, and the platform London Real. And of course, there are a lot of other platforms, but I cannot say. I think there's also a platform called InfoWars, but I watched one episode and I thought, I really trust my guts. If it's something, can I trust this platform, or is it too conspiracy theories kind of stuff where I think, okay, no, it's just my feeling of my own in my belly and my own intuition if I can trust these platforms or not.
Yeah, because
I think people really need alternative media, alternative platforms where they can inform themselves and then make up their own mind. So they at least they have an alternative to the mainstream TV and media and newspapers. For example, I really prefer documentaries and uncensored interviews. I don't even read anything about magazines or newspapers, because nowadays it's so easy to just write something about somebody else. You can write something that this person had said this in the past, and it can also be fake. I really want to hear the message from that guy, from that man or from that woman, out of his or her own mouth, and then not just snippets, but really uncensored, long interview, so I can really make up my mind about this person or about this content the person talks about.
Yeah. Well, to the next question.
You also wanted to say something else, or did I interrupt you?
Yeah, well, I kind of like wanted to just say that in these times, it's ridiculous, in my opinion, that people are like, I'm living in Japan, and every morning for the past 3 months, when you open the news channel, they're just talking about the damn virus. Like, it's just that, like it's almost like nothing else there's nothing happening in the world except this. And it's kind of like it's and even now, when like things are getting to normal, like it's still going, it's still continuing. And I go to shopping mall, I hear the name of the virus. I go to just streets, you hear about it. You see how people are so oppressed by this kind of like fear mongering. Then I'm fine with it that everybody is not as rebellious maybe than I am, but at least when you see that for 3 months the news are just saying one thing all over again, you start to think like, well, maybe I should search somewhere else, because there is a broken record running on TV, and if I want to know really what's going on, I have to do something about it. And this is what happened with me, because I was like, just it started to be nonsense after 2 weeks for me, like hey, what is going on?
That's also the problem with the mainstream media. There's so much negativity in that. They're always talking about devastation and murder and rape and killing and other. And if you constantly watch this or hear this, it becomes your reality, instead of where are the really positive news? Where are the if you want to influence people, then why don't you focus on so many positive things that are going on in the world right now, and also back in history? But of course, there was also a time when I lived at my parents' place, and they watched the news, and I thought, it's always the same. It's always negativity. They are terrorists and war and all these kinds of stuff. And I thought, no, I don't. I know now what's going on in the world, but because some people say, but you have to be informed. You have to watch the news. And I thought, okay, I know that there's a lot of shit going on in the world, but I want to concentrate on focus on positive things, and that doesn't has to do anything to do with that I'm isolating myself from that. I know that in my brain. I'm conscious of that. But if you are too much focused on negativity, then positivity in your life almost doesn't have a chance anymore. And I think it's very, very important that you focus on the things in life that are actually working. So mainstream media just no, it's nothing for me anymore.
Yeah, and it's kind of this thing where I don't think that many people realize how obsessed they have become by negative news. When I meet people, like it's not just gossiping, but people really like hearing bad stuff about other people, or
of course it's sensational. Yeah, we are like some people also read that glossy magazines and like, who betrayed
can
who?
You believe there is magazines? People buy magazines to see shit about other people. That's just it's insane. And with the recording, but anyway, back to the topic we were talking about, the like news and how people are thrown into negative energy. People are buying magazines and everything to find out about Hollywood stars, like how bad their life is or something like this, and somehow they feel good about themselves. But to get to that point for still for a couple of minutes, why do you think people are so, interested into negative energy?
Yeah, as I said, I think we humans have an interest for sensation or everything that thrills us. As I said, I love reading books and watch movies with thrillers, with an exciting, everything that's exciting. And but I really do believe that it's important that we keep this sensation really to our imagination, to our fiction. Yeah, everything we can, everything we can think about. It's everything entertaining should stay really in the fiction and not concerning reality, concerning really serious things or people we don't even know in reality. And I think it could cause more harm if we bring the sensation of thriller movies or thriller books, all the exciting stuff, if we get, how do I say, if we put these thrilling things into reality, into our real reality, it could cause more harm, because then we are, I think a lot of people cannot divide anymore between fiction and non-fiction. I think that's the thing where it goes down, goes down to it.
Yeah, but we can continue with that thought, the fiction and non-fiction, because for me, I'm very much every day when I'm waking up and going to the studio of mine, I'm finding out that every person who I meet on the street is, I cannot see their nose, I cannot see their face. It's hot, 35 degrees outside, people are sweating, and and I'm the only person in the planet who doesn't have it. And so my question to you before I start to rant,
it's like a science fiction
Yeah,
movie we are now living in.
And sometimes I'm really like, is this real? Like, is this really real? I'm in a train and I'm watching there to there. I'm really the only one.
We are living in a Hollywood movie right now.
Yeah, what? Like, yeah, but yeah, Carsten, I mean, and that's even for the people who watch this. This is not to discriminate or say that other people are wrong or bad or something like this, but well, this is our own truth, what we think about it. And now I want to hear your truth about masks. Do you wear them when you go outside? Do you or do you wear them inside?
Yeah,
or
I used to wear them. I used to wear them in trains, in supermarkets, and different kind of shops, but not because I'm afraid of a virus. And unfortunately, you could not buy anything the last month without wearing a mask. So if it would have possible, then I wouldn't have wear a mask at all. But it was not possible to go even shopping. And
really, like you can't go shopping.
No, I mean everybody wears.
What country are you now in?
In Austria.
In Austria.
Sorry,
yeah.
Austria. Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody wears masks in the supermarket, or and if you go in there and want to buy something, people also the people who are running the supermarket, they tell you to really wear a mask, and if you don't have, you have to buy one, and it's like you are not even able to really get rid of that mask. And yeah, and by the way, I doubt that masks are a really useful help to hold back any kind of virus. Okay, I'm not a virologist, but I also hear lots of kind of doctors that say, okay, the masks that doctors use, yeah, they are prevent bacteria from getting into the wounds of the patient, but bacteria are much bigger. Yeah. They're different than viruses, and also these masks that people really make themselves out of cloth. Yeah, I think it's a big theater. It's just my opinion, but you also see so many people wearing a mask also on the streets where it's not mandatory. And yeah, I guess you only have to accept their own fear. They're living in their own fear, and you cannot do anything to get them out of their fear, or almost anything. And at a time ago, I posted a picture of myself on Instagram wearing a black hat, sunglasses, and a black mask, saying, "Oh, finally I can go shopping like Michael Jackson without feeling embarrassed." So I try to take this measures as humorous as possible. But luckily the rules for wearing a mask in Austria are not so strict anymore since June the 15th. It's different in Germany. In Germany, they still have to wear a mask everywhere where they go into a shop, supermarket, trains, and yeah, I'm really wondering how long this is going to be.
So, but this I don't get. This I don't get. At the same time, they are saying, I mean, they are lifting these kind of like restrictions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, the same media, the same people, the government, are kind of like hinting about some kind of second wave. So I'm like, you know, like, hold up, this doesn't make really much sense. So that if you know already that it's going to come back as worse, then why are we lifting? It's just
I have no clue. There are so many things that we already do. We keep distance. We wear masks. We sneeze into our arms instead of into our hands. We wash our hands and blah, blah. And I don't know if the second wave is coming. But if it's coming, then for me it's totally ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. I don't know what to think. What else I should think about this? Well,
yeah. Yeah, but I have to say that at least here I I I have only one time in a post office one old man was very aggressively in Japanese calling me out and asking why do I don't wear a mask. And
Hmm.
I'm very verbal person, but I decided to just stay silent because
Hmm.
although here 95 more than 95% of the people, well, that's just out of my head, but it seems like it, at least in Tokyo, are wearing the mask, and they are wearing even alone in the car or whatever. And I don't
Is
have,
it yeah, is it mandatory in Japan?
no, I mean, it's very hard to understand which is mandatory, which is order, which is kind of like suggestion. But at least like I went to a ballet shop with my wife, and they
Hmm.
came very nicely to say, like, you have to wear a mask here, and they could provide me a mask. I have never heard that they say that I have to buy. Everywhere they have been very polite and saying, but I have always refused and said, like, that's okay. I go outside to wait, and it's not to, I don't want to rebel because it's not their fault. They are
Yeah,
just normal
yeah. They
people,
just yeah, yeah.
and I don't want to get them fired or anything. But it's just my decision that, if I can go outside and wait my wife to it, and that's the thing that I'm not trying to be sending a message to others like you are wrong. I'm just
Mm,
trying to also kind of to have an alternative you know human being who is not wearing the mask, and it's still everything
yeah.
is okay.
To give other people another example. Yeah.
Exactly.
And some people can really be offended by this and think, oh, but by not wearing a mask, you are irresponsible and killing people, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's what they trying to say to us, or they can see it as, oh, this virus is maybe not so dangerous as the mainstream media tell us. And if imagine nobody wearing a mask now, and and nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it's yeah. Imagine there's war and nobody shows up.
Yeah, it's definitely like
Because
that.
if the virus would be so dangerous as they tell us it is, we would already dead by now.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And now when there's this protest and everything going on, it's like it's just a big joke that even the media is like kind of like, hey, it's good, let's go outside and be together. Like I'm totally like I don't really care, but I just don't get it. Like the people who were just spending 3 months in their apartments, stay home, beware the virus.
Yeah, but it's
And
it's really it's really the fear of the people that they uh, would kill somebody, yeah, or spread the virus if they go out.
yeah,
Because this idea of being irresponsible, going out not wearing a mask, is so uh, infectious. It's in their own heads that it's so hard to get out. Yeah, it's so hard
yeah,
to get that fear out.
yeah. Well, to another next discussion,
Hmm.
next question, like all these, like during half a year, last past 6 months, I have been really
Hmm.
thinking like what is life on Earth right now? And I would like, what do you think? How is life on Earth right now for humans?
Uh, that's a very difficult question without getting too pessimistic. Um, Actually, I have never seen humanity so divided like in the last months. And that's also the reason why I deactivated my Facebook account for a while. because there's so much negativity and shitstorm going on, just because of different belief systems and opinions concerning that crisis. And I think we are facing the biggest challenge in the history of mankind. We unlearned, or we forgot to really listen to each other without prejudice, without heavy emotions. I think it is very important that we learn this again. But seriously, I have no clue where we are going to. If you look at the situation in China, where they have millions and millions of cameras and can identify any person on the streets within minutes, or people get social credits and more privileges if they behave like or conform to the rules the government says them to follow. I watched this documentary on Arte and I couldn't believe my eyes. It's like, what the fuck is going on there? And also, yeah, we can say, it is China, yeah, but we already have tracing apps. I have a friend who tried to delete this Corona app on her phone, and it is not possible anymore on some phones. It always comes back. And then I asked myself, well, that's the thing that's going on right now in China. For me, it still seems like a science fiction movie, but I'm very concerned if this also can happen in the rest of the world, because if we are not awake, it's a possibility that we go into the same direction. And yeah, speaking for myself, I try to stay in my comfort bubble or happy island or whatever you might want to call it, but it's just for my own protection. I have, in this kind of world we are living right now, I have to protect myself, and I can also advise everybody to do the same, because this is the best thing I can do at the moment, to stay happy and positive and still inspire others with what I'm doing. But seriously, I don't have no clue where humanity will go to.
But it's very interesting to me that what you said in the end, like all you can do is be happy and positive and inspire others. And I think that's a very important message to most of the people if they feel like they need to do something about it. And I think that is exactly the thing what we need to do. And how I came in contact you after many years was because you made the video. I will also put the YouTube link to your video, and it was such a heartwarming video, and you put some words in there which I wanted to say to the world, but I couldn't. I think I was too much emotionally in the negative side, so that I could have not found the approach that you did with the video for other people. But and please, people, go check it. Like, I will link it with this video. But you said that you got some negative stuff from it, like from other people, like or was it only happy people and saying like
from that video I posted where I talked about Corona, or the chance that we also get with this situation, I received very, very positive comments and positive reactions. But if I posted something else, like an interview with David Icke, or some other kind of interview or a documentary, they said, "How can you post this? This is like conspiracy and radical." And I thought, I didn't impose my opinion on others. I said just, okay, if I posted it because it has in the basic message, it is also reflects my opinion. But I just said, okay, look to this or watch this or give it a chance, and then you can make your own opinion. But it's like I throw a matchstick into fuel when it exploded, like shitstorm all over the place.
Yeah, but it's interesting that, you know, one thing people receive from you as very positive, and then yet if you at the same time period you say something else or you post something else, they can totally like 180 their opinions about you and start to think like, oh, but you must be crazy because you posted this or something like this. I like this, but I don't like that. And it's just very like people are becoming this kind of like reaction junkies. Like they need to have reaction immediately.
Immediately. Boom.
Yeah. You're crazy. So yeah, and I just it's beginning for something disastrous, I think, when
but yeah, I think if people react like this, then it has to do something with their deepest opinions, or it should have something to do with themselves when they're reacting like this. For example, years ago I was in Egypt, and it was like a journey in the desert, and we also had some people who guide us, and I met a man who was one of the group of the guides, and I had a very positive attitude, and I talked with him for the whole week. I thought, wow, what a nice warm person. And then at the end of the journey we came, I don't know how, but the discussion came onto women's rights and being stoned. And I'm like, God, and I thought, is this really the person that I talked to for a whole week? I was really shocked, and I couldn't talk to that person anymore. I just distanced myself from this person, because for me this was in that situation. I really also reacted immediately. I was shocked and paralyzed, and I thought, well, I cannot deal with this. And I guess if I would go into the same situation now, maybe I would also get emotional, but I would breathe a few times and then ask this person, why? Why do you believe it is, why do you believe like this? Or who made you think that this is right? So I would try to go as non-emotional as I can be into this discussion. And because I would ask him, I don't get it. Tell me why you believe this, because I don't understand it. I want to understand why you think like this. But this is when it comes to really, really controversial and very heavy stuff, then it's a very big challenge for everybody to stay calm, to just really listen. And even if you don't agree at the end, it's a challenge, because most people are really react emotional right away, boom, 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 and then case closed. Yeah.
I think that was very good point, what you just made there, because I have similar experiences in my life where I have met people like, I have had a very good discussion with a man who I worked with years ago, and then suddenly he like kind of comes up with this talk with me, and he is very like first opposing same-sex marriage, and then going more and more, and I find out that he thinks that same-sex partners or gays are somehow mentally ill. And I was like really in that situation where I could start, of course, say exactly like are you crazy or something like this, but I decided to take it in another way where I just wanted to really be like, oh wow, so why do you think this way? And we actually talked like probably, I don't know, like 2 hours or something straight on. And I had to say like, well, some of my best friends are gay, and you know, I never really felt any difference. Like it's just, you know, life, and you know, I don't really have any problem with those things. And I asked about religion things and everything. And I would say that in the end, after the 2 hour conversation, he realized that the way he says his words about this issue doesn't actually, like, he was, I would say, and is still probably homophobe, but I would say that there was something in his life that made him think that way, made him kind of like traumatized without actual information, because this person actually never met really, like, I mean for sure he met gay people and stuff like that, but he never knew. And he really thought that he has not only on TV he has met those people, yeah. But I think that many times when we have those, like even the stoning of the women, I think that maybe that man has been living in an environment where it's normal, and then you just think like, well, you know, it's just how we do it. Like, you know, soon in 100 years, if somebody starts to take the mask off, people are going to be like, what the hell are you doing? You're going to die if you take the mask off.
Yeah, and this is a horrifying vision. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but people get into like, that's the same thing. Like if you come from a place where everybody,
where it's normal,
where hating other people is normal, it's normal. Killing other people is normal. It's normal.
Or if you look at in China, or I don't know how it's done in Japan, that they are killing dogs and cats while they're alive and eating them. It's like, for them it's normal. For us, it's like, whoa, so horrifying pictures. We are not used to see some stuff of this, and I guess they are not aware of that these are really living creatures with emotions. They are just, for them, they are maybe just things, objects. And it's really hard to understand. Yeah, if you're the reality in which you live are so divided from each other, and it's like really you live on a different planet.
Yeah, and I think that's also one big reason where we should find time to know each other, to have a conversation and know where this person is coming. Because exactly like, well, you know, not in Japan, but I've been in Vietnam in a market where there were roasted dogs and but that's the thing, like I don't have a problem with a normal Vietnamese person eating dog, because I think that that person just think it's normal, and for me it's not normal. And I think that if there needs to be some kind of how would I say, discussion about it, because of my thoughts, my views in life, and I want to make a progress, then I really need to come with a humble personality and really try to first understand why is this happening. And this is the same thing that happens many times with different religions when they clash, different nationalities. And it's always this, that where instead of having first peaceful conversation and deciding like, and seeing like, do we have a moral ground? Do we understand that killing other people is wrong if they didn't exactly do nothing? Or is it okay to eat really much when next to you is somebody who is starving? Or all these kind of questions. And I think that our whole education system these days is so corrupted to bring us into this world where we are not taught about any morals. There is like nothing about this life, and it's just this kind of like context, like learn this bird's name, or what is magma.
It's just facts.
It's just facts.
It's not wisdom. It's just knowledge. It's just facts. And if I look at our education system, well, Finland is maybe the pioneer of a different education system, but if I look at the rest of the world, it's like, why don't children learn how to build up a good immune system, or really go out into the nature and learn what can I eat and what is poison for my body? How can I get into a good relationship with others? How can I build up respect? How do I do a discussion? Really simple, basic things that I need in life, and not just facts in my head when I go want to win a prize for a TV show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, because this is also so many facts. And I mean, if you know all these facts, nice, but for what? For what? I always ask myself, when I want to learn something, then I ask myself, do I need this in life? And can I use this for practical life and not just for theory, mere theory?
But that's very, it's, I think that we are now living in the intellectual downfall of humanity, because
that's a very, very good expression. Intellectual downfall. Oh, I have to write this down for myself.
But it's really this kind of where because I came to Tokyo 2 years ago to stay here, to start a career, and of course I have been visiting here, and I really want to say that I really respect so many things in Japan, and Japanese people are very humble and nice people, but they don't think with their own brain, I realized. And this is something that I was understanding, like, well, it works in many ways. It's a good thing that they obey. They are very, like also in this virus time, you tell them you need to wash your hands or something. They do it. They do everything. You need to do this. They do everything. So that's something that is really great in this kind of big society. But when we have like something like education system, where people are put in already 3-4 years old to like kindergartens, where they're kind of like prepping them for school, and at 6 years old they're already like, okay, test, read this. And when I have a ballet class and I have a talented ballet dancer, 14-15 years old, and I'm like, okay, this is your last 3 years. If you want to become ballet dancer, you really need to devote for them. Oh, I cannot come because after school I have after school. And after school, and just to see like how our homework is, I'm like, okay, fine. So you come on weekend. No, in weekend I'm preparing for the test with this kind of other nonsense place.
Tell me.
They're all the time just reading. And this is the most absurd thing, that every one of them, especially the people who go to universities, which is the most, everybody should learn English. They have English classes and everything. Japan, Tokyo is full of English teachers, but none of them know how to speak English. And this is because they don't use it. They don't use it,
Okay.
they don't talk, they don't think with it. It's just for the test. After test is gone, shoo.
Yeah. It's like I can tell you also from my experience in Austria. I also teach people who are still in school, and they are complaining so much about the school system, and they have to learn this, they have to learn that. I don't even have a list anymore for my classes. I said, okay, who's here, who is there, okay, and but people are missing so much dance class because they have to learn for a new test or a new exam or homework and blah blah blah, and it's crazy where this is going to. And I think going back to your thing to China and also Tokyo and Japan, and I think in these areas people, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel that people are more being obedient to the government because they think, okay, this nation or this community or this society can only work as a whole if I follow the rules. So they don't see, maybe they don't see themselves so much as individuals, but only part of a bigger something, part of a bigger group. And I say, okay, if governments are really have only the good for the people, or plan good for the, then obedience is not a problem. But I see that so many corrupt governments, corrupt politicians, the more you go into this hierarchic pyramid, the more you just follow the money. And so many, how do I say, disobedience becomes a duty when the government gets corrupt, because then it's really such a dangerous thing to just follow the rules and not think anymore. And I think this is happening in right now in China with all these cameras and the control of the society, the control of the people. And I don't know where this is going to.
First, how do you see yourself in this world? Are you on the good side? Are you a good person?
Yes, well, I think we have to define what good and bad is. As you can remember, we had a first conversation which by accident was deleted, and if you think of just that fact, you could see it as bad. But now we have a second interview where we actually go much deeper into detail and more questions, and actually it turned out that our first conversation was deleted by accident was a good thing. So we always have sometimes bad things happen, or that we receive bad. In the end, it could come good in the end, or also some good things that we receive as good in the first perception could turn out bad. So I think it's better to talk about good and bad intentions. And I perceive myself as somebody with good intentions. I don't see myself as somebody who want to cause chaos or something else. So I think also a lot of people that I know see themselves on the, in brackets, see themselves on the good side. And I think actually most of the people have good intentions. But sometimes they are so into their own environment and into their own education, that they sometimes not see that what they actually do has bad outcome. But I think most of the people have good intentions.
Yeah, and I think that's very that kind of points out a lot about how to describe a good person is about the intentions that this person has, because I know that there is no absolute good or bad. I mean, you can I think we can find some of the things in life to be absolute bad or good, but I think that my feeling about other person's intentions is much more important than disagreeing with opinions or maybe the other person annoys me, is somebody who is not somebody I would like to share a room or something like this. But all these goes to secondary thing when I find out what is this person's goal in life, how he wants to live life. And very often there are many people who seek to have some kind of mission to prove other people wrong, or to show them that I can be better than other people. And in those cases, I feel that his or her intentions are not good, because that means that you're trying to battle without no consequences. Like you don't care about the consequences. You're just determined that you need to get somewhere, and you don't think about other people. And I think that that kind of part lives in all of us. And I think that comes to my next question, because I think that
I also think of that. Sorry to interrupt you, but I also think of that sign, the yin yang.
Yes.
There's also bad in the good, and there's also bad in the good. So it's vice versa. So and I think it also reflects what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I think we have to remember throughout our life that everyone is capable of both bad and good. So it's not like, you know, and most of the time it's much more simple to do bad than good. But that comes to well, part two, which is I'm wondering, like, is there really like genuinely like bad people in this world? What do you think? And how do they come bad?
I guess that becoming bad or having bad intentions has a lot to do with the environment you are living in, the education you had, financial circumstances, the people you are dealing with most of the time. If you are living in the same country, there are so many factors which I think are important to take into account. But still, it is always a decision. I believe that you always have a choice. I believe that every one of us has both sides in themselves, the light force and the dark force. And I don't know if you watch the Harry Potter movies, but there's a sequence in which Harry talks with Dumbledore, and he is so worried to become a bad person because he feels so much anger and rage sometimes, and he sometimes is even afraid of himself. And Dumbledore replies that it's not about the fact that we have both sides in ourselves, but which side do we actually choose? The side that we choose makes us a good or a bad person in the end. So which side someone chooses I guess it's depending on the environment and your character. How strong is your character to choose for the love and the light force, even in the worst circumstances? I think it also depends on the person and the character itself. Well, I do believe that we always have a choice, and no matter how worse the circumstances are. Yeah. So it's not about the fact that we have both sides in ourselves, but it's the choice.
Yeah.
Which monster do we feed? Yeah, the positive or the negative?
Yeah, that's I think something that most of the people these days don't think at all, because we are living in this social media. I would say like it's basically this kind of like some kind of weird porn where we are all just taking selfies, smiling, and just saying that we are so happy, and we are so perfect. My life is good. Yeah, I love you. You're my friend. Everything. Yeah. And it's this kind of like where that's not human, because we are all bad. Also, we all also have the bad side. And I'm just thinking that I'm probably like the last generation that gets to live sort of normal life, where I am accepted to be a bit shit, bit bad with things and everything. Like I have my flaws and everything, but everybody's like, hey, great that you're trying to be better or something. Because I think the upcoming generation already faces a huge amount of pressure, because first of all, like now for 3 months, they don't meet other people. They don't talk with them. They only look pictures or videos or something like this. And they need to look good. They need to sound good. Everything needs to be good, because we are already having kind of points, because we have likes, we have how many followers you have, we have all these kind of things where people are just wanting to get the reaction from other people, where they approve you, we approve you. So
yeah, it's seeking for approval, seeking for it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of suicides are gonna come in future. The suicide rates are gonna increase in almost everywhere in the world, because then when you have a problem, you think you're alone, you know. It's normal, like when you do something bad, or you have a weird shit situation in your brain, head, or something like this. And the worst thing is if you think that you're the only one who has it. You're that weird mistake in this world, and nobody will understand you. I think that's gonna be causing a lot of problem in future with this social media hyper positivity.
I think it's not. I think it's normal to present ourselves in a good way. Of course, when I teach to my students, I also want to give them a good time, to inspire them, and I think it's normal when you interact that you want to feel happy and show the best side of you. But I think it's more the knowledge that there's still something else. So if something goes wrong, it goes wrong. It's I think it's more about the acceptance that we have both sides in ourselves, and that there are some days that we feel shitty, or that we are not patient enough, and just accepting also rage or anger or dislike in yourself, but that we don't push that aside. Accept that feeling, because that makes us human, that we have so many different emotions in ourselves, and it's about accepting also the shadow sides. They're kind of, now I'm becoming very philosophical. There cannot be shadows without the lights. Yeah.
But back to one question that I didn't ask yet, but I think it can be added right here is, well, what we have been talking now, it seems that this world is coming very dark, darker. It's not dark, of course. There is plenty of positivity and positive stuff in it, like in person in itself. You have the negative side and you have the positive side, and you decide which way you go. You said already earlier in this conversation about what you can do is to be happy, positive, and inspire people. But I would like to conduct the question once more and say more clear, ask more clear that do you think there is something special or very important you feel now and that you can do to make the world a better place?
I hope that people don't think I'm too egocentric if I say this, but I say first me and then the others. Because if I stay happy, if I'm really peaceful in myself, if I'm stable, if I'm happy, then I can push also or inspire others and also try to make other people happy. If I'm in a shitty place, first I have to, let's say first I have to take care of myself, and then I can also take care of others. There was a time a few years ago when I tried to wake people up by force because I thought I had to save the world and there's too little time to not take action. But I got so much negative energy from people that I hardly had anything positive left over for me to do my artistic stuff. So that did not work out very well. And now I have a different strategy. I just keep focusing on my talents. I try to make myself as happy as I can be. And from that on, as I said, I can inspire others in my environment and suggest they do the same. I think that's the best you can do. Really focusing on your natural talents and gifts and being thankful for what you got. Gratitude is also a very, very powerful energy. The more you are grateful for the things you have in life, it can multiply to a very, very high degree. But also, I think from time to time, it's also important to give people something to think, to let people think outside the box. And sometimes I post thoughts of mine or sharing someone's interviews and documentaries, even if they are very challenging for most people's belief systems. But I feel that it is my duty as a world citizen to do this from time to time. But I'm not more into that strategy of wake the fuck up. So from time to time, I give people something to think, but for the rest, I try to be, as I said, as happy as I can be, because I think that's the only strategy for me that I can make this world a better place. And even if I only do it in my environment, if everybody does it, we immediately have a better world. If we really take care of ourselves, it doesn't for me it doesn't has to do anything with being egoistic or egocentric, or maybe let's call it egocentric, but it also has a negative connotation with it. But I think it's better if we say just first take care of yourself, of your own life, what you want to do with your life. Also take care of your body, take care of your health. And from then on, you can project this to others and make other people happy.
Yeah, that's very, very good. What would you say to those people who, especially the last one where you said take care of your health, and we have been scared to lock down and to wear these masks and stop businesses, stop normal life until there is no scary stuff happening. And those reasons are coming from health issues, this virus and everything. Is there something you could help those people to understand what else there is about health that they need to think about during this time? Is it just enough to be afraid of the virus that you're healthy?
I don't get this question.
Yeah, sorry, that was a bit weirdly said. Yeah, is it very prior to this time to should those people who prioritize the virus have a very big concern to their health, and they think that the best thing to keep their self healthy is now to stay inside, avoid going out, and if you go out you wear mask, stay away from other people, and wash your hands and everything like this. Is this the healthy way? Is this the right way to stay healthy?
I think it's okay to be careful, to be aware of what's going on, but I think a more healthy way would be going out in nature if you have the possibility, eat healthy, listen to good music, try to do yoga, try to do meditation. There's so many things in life that supports your immune system and supports yourself being healthy. And I think we are too much focused on getting rid of the bad, or getting rid of disease, or fight the virus, fight cancer, fight disease, instead of going from the other direction and saying, how many possibilities do I have actually to stay healthy and get a good immune system? Because fear is one of the biggest viruses we have in life, because fear weakens our immune system. There's a brilliant interview on the Reel with a doctor. I forgot his name right now, but he had 2 hours. I think it was 2 hours of talking about how building up a strong immune system, and only with your thoughts and positive emotions and all the stuff. In the evolution, our fear was a healthy tool, because when I had to flee from a flight from a saber-toothed tiger, but in our now in the time we're now living in, we have so many fears that are actually not real. And every time we fear something, fear of not having enough money, fear not of staying healthy, it weakens our immune system, and this can cause more health problems and diseases that we can even think of. The more fear we have of something, the bigger the chance is that we get a disease, or that our immune system really shuts down.
Yeah, I have been reading for the last 15 years about researchers about stress-related deaths and stress-related diseases, and it's just coming more and more. They're researching it with different kind of problems, different kind of life situation, and it all points out that the massive amount of stress in this world among humans is rising, and the deaths caused by these kind of stress-related incidents are rising. And that's something that reflects on what you just said. And I would like to continue this with a question. Well, are you, Carsten? Are you afraid of death?
Yeah, it's not so much a fear of death itself. It is more a concern of the form of death, which I have to go through eventually. I can get you an example. My father, he had one of the most desirable deaths you can imagine. He died from a second to another, feeling no pain, as if someone had pulled out the electricity cable out of the socket. And actually, he was dancing with my mother on a party, and suddenly his heart stopped beating, and he fell to the ground. He was immediately dead. And so if I could choose the way I'm gonna die, it would be during a dance or a music performance on stage, or while teaching a workshop. It would be kind of epic. But my other concern is that I die too early. That I died too early and might not have realized all I wanted concerning my career. That there are maybe so many things that I still wanted to do, still wanted to realize. That's my bigger concern. So the form of death, and if it is a long procedure of death, maybe cancer or whatever, that I have to go through. So the form of death, and that I might die too early before I have realized everything I wanted. But it's not the fear of death itself, because I believe that, yeah, we have different lives, and I come back in a different body, and having another life. And I think with death, it's only a transformation of energy, and the entity called Carsten is then ended. Yeah, and then I go into another body, whether it's on planet Earth or in another planet in some other galaxy. So
we were talking about fear of death, and I believe we kind of like covered it up, and you were talking about your views in afterlife and coming back to Earth and everything, which leads us to the kind of like intercross section of questions, where we have been talking about this coronavirus thing. Some people think about it's a scam. Some people think about it that it's a very horrible thing. Some people are in the middle trying to find what's true. I believe we are kind of one of those people. We may lean into some direction, but at least we're trying to seek for our own truth. And we have been talking today also about the media's manipulation, the obsessity on negative news, and kind of like just repeating the same stuff. And sometimes it seems really that we are not living reality. We are in some kind of simulation that it's controlled by something other thing than, you know, humanity or even God. And I watched first time in my life something that became quite a big movie. I think I was 10 years old, and I saw The Matrix, and I saw the trailer to it, and I was thinking like, wow, cool, there's like cool shooting and everything like that. I want to see it. I want to see this movie. And when I saw it, it was everything else than I expected. There was, of course, action also, but I believe that my whole brain went into a very different way, where of course what I'm watching fiction, but I was 11, just 11. I didn't even work then. But somehow in this movie, there was weird connection. I was like, there was already like weird connection that this movie is bigger than what I thought. This is not just movie. This is something that is gonna change my life. And then I came back to watch cool movie, showed it couple of friends, girlfriends or something like this, but I never really start to really go deep in like what it was that this movie was really like kind of like speaking to me. And now just these last 4 or 5 years, actually just this last year, I realized that it's actually also not just about the movie, it's about the name that has brought so many theories around it, the Matrix, that has really kind of like tested me, because I know you start to talk about some movie that is fiction and you say like, oh, but there's real in there. Most of the people will call like, oh man, are you bored? You're going crazy. You're like, you're like, you should, chill out, take a break, because, you're watching a movie and thinking it's, like, what are you? But then that's exactly what the movie is kind of talking about, that we are actually living in this virtual simulation where we are kind of like blinded with this fake world, not to understand how fucked up things actually are. And right now, I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. And I want to ask you, what is on your thoughts about this huge thing, this Matrix?
Yeah, of course, I also watched that movie, and also the sequels. And but yeah, when we're talking about the sequels, it was also for me too much action. But especially the first real Matrix movie. Some people also say it's not any science fiction anymore, it's a documentary. And well, there are different kind of Matrix we can talk about. First of all, if we look at the 5 senses of an average human being, we are limited to observe only a specific part of reality. So we can only see, hear, taste, smell, and feel with the capabilities of our body, which is a tool, an instrument to get an idea of reality, or so-called, let's call it we have a biological computer. And there are so many things we cannot sense. For example, specific frequencies we cannot hear, but dogs can only hear. And either we also cannot see sharp as an eagle. So every creature on this planet perceives a different kind of reality, or a different kind of matrix, and therefore also lives in another matrix, or simulation, as you call it. And I assume that if we evolve further as humanity, the range of frequencies can also expand. The brand of the range of frequency we can perceive could expand eventually. And if we're talking about other matrices, the constant mainstream media, the constant negativity we perceive can also produce an artificial a matrix, because if you constantly hear and see and perceive all these messages that going through the mainstream media, you accept or perceive this reality as true and nothing else. So the danger, if you always hear the one thing, then this is your reality. Then this negative world can become your own matrix, that you are a victim, that you could become a victim of, and that's a danger. If you're living in a artificially negative, artificially produced negative matrix.
Yeah.
And then it's even more important to step out of it and see also some alternative medias and concentrate on your positivity, because then otherwise you are totally caught up in this world and think, oh God, the whole world is bad, because that's somebody might think that the whole world is mad and crazy and disease and wars if you only watch TV and read the newspaper. And yeah, that's so we have the matrix that we live in, limited by our senses, by our biological computer, that we just have to accept. And we have the artificial produced matrices that are caused by governments or media that we perceive.
Yeah, and I really think that it's, of course, I respect everybody's opinion about the matrix. I find it interesting that some people actually believe that we are actually in some kind of tank somewhere, and we are like being streaming all the time this life, and we are not actually physically living. I'm a bit more lighted on that issue. I believe that it's more like metaphor, what the movie sets up. And I really think that every individual thing, what happens in the movie Matrix, is actually especially happening now so clearly. You have Neo, who is unaware that he is living in a matrix, but he has this feeling that everything is
that
fake.
There's something
is not
more
real.
going on.
Yeah, there's something more going on. Then he gets introduced that you are right, you were right, there is something more going on. And when you accept the red pill, which means that now there's no going back, once you start thinking this way, that's it, you can't go back.
Exactly.
We come to the red pill soon. But then Neo wakes up and finds out that the real life is much more shittier, and he immediately starts, you can see that immediately there comes this shock, like, oh my God, where am I, what is this place? And the disbelief that, can this be real, can this be true? And so but the people who have woken up him, or he has woken up himself or whatever, but the people who are together, they share human love. They are like, we as human, we need to stick together and save other humans. We have to fight the matrix. And I mean, they are outnumbered, so of course, like, why don't you just hide and accept that this was a shitty decision to come back to life, and or you should have stayed there in the nice happy land with your brainwashed.
Exactly. When you say happy island, and we also have the other side, the commercials, and the some kind of matrix that are produced by the advertisements. If you buy this, you get happy. If you buy this, you get happy. If you take that pill, you fight this disease. It's like also everywhere you look, it's you have advertisements on the TV, on posters, and or let's if we could talk about the perfect getting the perfect body, getting the perfect shape. A woman has to look like this, thin, big breasts, whatever, and the man have to have lots of muscles, and you don't see other, or hardly see other role models in advertisement. Everybody's beauty, everybody's perfect, and that's also a kind of matrix that's very dangerous, because if you constantly see these messages, you are you are not designed, but you are kind of programmed to believe that this is the reality. It's this, and sometimes or often people feel then very ashamed or of their own body, or they don't feel comfortable in their own body anymore, because you don't have that shape like in the advertisements, and that's very dangerous. It's also another matrix produced through different kinds of media. That's very dangerous.
It's very dangerous, and I think that the funny and ironic thing is that you would think that, well, if you accept to realize the world how it is really, like you're already like accepting to take a burden upon yourself, and you would think like for sure other people will leave you alone with it, like they will just be like, well, this person is crazy or whatever. No, they attack you. They if you start to understand that and educate yourself, you start to question the system and say like, hey, isn't it weird when we are born, we are immediately given a number, we are immediately put in a system, in a paper, the government is expecting you to come to visit the hospital these times, and you should get this and this to your body, you have to have this name, oh, what religion is it, okay, already so much information put into computer.
Yeah, nationality and religion sometimes is on the passport. It's like, why? It's a label. It's just a label.
And then when the real slavery becomes, we send you to this building where there is an authority that tells you what do you need to think about life, what do you need to learn about life to be successful. They don't talk about how to make your taxes. They don't tell you about passion, how to learn who you are and how to evolve yourself into something that in future will help the whole world. No, you're becoming a slave. You're all the time
slave of the system.
Slave of the system. And when you question this, when you're a person that has been through this, I have been through, you have been through this, and you start to question that this is slavery, this is real. Other people become agents, like from the movie. So they are not, they become the agents. They turn on you and say like, you are dangerous, you are horrible, even if you're not hurting anybody, you're not doing anything illegal, you're smiling, you're hugging, or hugging is now, you kill people to hug people. Because, virus. And but all this nonsense thing is happening, and I just don't understand. Like, it's one of those things that I'm trying to say to most of the people. It's funny, many millionaires even don't go to university unless you know what you want out of it. It's not like you go to this system for 5-6 years and you get guaranteed lifetime job, even if it's not the job that, but they cannot guarantee. But the people who go in
there's no guarantee. But people want safety. People want safety.
But they are already programmed that this is the only way. This is the only way.
Buying a house, getting a family, making money, blah blah blah. And I don't say it's wrong, but it's not the only. It's not the only way.
Yeah, exactly. I want to clarify in this sentence that I didn't mean that it's bad, but when you have only one way of thinking, one way of living, it becomes problematic because you become easy to control, because the one that controls the path, the system, can make you do anything, make you think anything, if you don't realize that there's other things. But what do you think about this, still about the Matrix, where why do we need to fight the Matrix? Like, because in the movie it's very clear they're trying to fight the Matrix, but many times later I was starting to think very much that, well, it's hopeless. And in the I also didn't like so much the sequels. I think the Hollywood,
there were too much action based, and
well, they tried to make it for everybody so that everybody will buy the ticket. But still, in the last one, or was it the second one, when he enters the creator's place, he says that the Matrix has to fail. the matrix always fails. It always ends in a failure, and then there starts a new chapter, and this fighting process is just a normal thing to happen. So there always needs to be the oppressive side and the rebellious side. And I'm thinking that you and me, at least now when we have taken the red pill, I don't know when you did it, but
20 years ago I think was the first time.
Well, hey, let's go to that actually. How did you take the red pill? What was your red pill moment?
The first red pill I took was a book from James Redfield calling A Celestine Prophecy, and it's also talked much about the synchronicity of things happening. That if you think of something, or how much power you actually have by sending out your energy and visualizing things, and that there's more to life than just following one path, or it actually talks about the miracle of life, that you really have control over your own life, that you're more powerful than most people want you to believe. And then many other books followed, and documentaries and interviews, and I thought, wow, yeah, if you once taken the red pill, you cannot go back.
Yeah, and reading is such an important source of knowledge. How do you feel that is the best way to try to red pill yourself? Is it books, or if you would try to, if somebody is being like Neo in the beginning of the movie and feeling that there's something strange, of course, like you said, also I have tried that, wake up, but that doesn't really work. So if you want to help somebody red pill themselves, what would be the step? I know this is not a question
it's
we
okay.
Talk about, but
okay, let me think about because I think there are a lot for every human being. It's different, because I can be inspired by a book, but I can for somebody else it is a special interview or on YouTube or on some other platform that really inspires that person and thinks, whoa, boom, there is really something else. It can be so many different forms. A book, a movie, an interview, a documentary, or even like we have now, we have a conversation. It can also be a conversation with somebody where you're so how would you say, engaged, or you're so inspired by that conversation, it really blows your mind. It really lifts up your energy. I can also feel now my energy really rising and lifting up, and I think that's a very good sign. If you have a higher frequency of energy, and you immediately feel that there is some truth about this, that really lifts you up, and almost forces you to do more research on that topic.
I think that's
so for everyone it's a different red pill, I think. Depending on how much depending on how easily you can learn through the different channels of your biological computer. Some people can learn and remember things better if they read something. And for me, the last years, it's better if I really can see and hear something from video. I can really learn the best from videos. From when I want to educate myself more in photography or in playing guitar, it's more the video thing than learning out of books. Learning out of books has become very hard for me in the last years. So I choose that medium. I choose that level of
Yeah,
inspiration.
I think for the end of this, because there's also like, this is a very important message, because I hear a lot from people, maybe even older people than us, saying that, but you just watch too much videos or something like this. And I really,
it depends on which videos.
oh, of course. But I think that even, I don't know, philosophers like Plato, Aristoteles, or whoever, they would have done videos if they could have done. I think, yeah. So I have a much respect for books. I have a dyslexia, so I don't read that much. It's not the only reason. I'm also lazy, because usually when I have one good book a year, I feel like that's enough for the rest of the year, and I don't search, because I let it kind of like meditate me. I know it might be an excuse, but don't you think that videos maybe are, in a way, just a next step in getting the information to other people, like books were for thousands of years? So now videos are becoming that. And
it could be it's a next step, but I hope that it stays only an alternative, because
of course,
books are for, because I don't, if I read a book, I really want a book in my hand. I want to also have this how do you say, excitement of having something really where I can turn pages. I don't have a, how do you say, the Kindle or Kindle, where you can read books on the screen. And I think, okay, I'm already so much on online and watching watching tutorials. So if I read something very long, then I really want to have I want to have an actual kind of book.
So you feel that in future there's a huge still importance for physical books?
Yeah, I think, because it's this. I think it's a sensation of having something more concrete than just a screen.
Yes,
I think
I
both.
agree.
I think both are important. But I hope that I hope that books will never disappear, because also the smell. Sometimes it's only the smell of the pages. I ordered a book, a photography book, and then because I'm so much also busy with photography, and most of the time my photos stay on my iPhone, on my computer. It all stays digital. But having a real book with real photos printed on paper is such a different experience. It's such a let's take our conversation. We only see each other now on the screen.
Yeah.
It's already, it is exciting. And now imagine having this conversation face to face in one studio. Whoa, the energy would
have been in the roof. Yeah, I know. I think there is still a couple of very important questions or topics that we ought to discuss still. After these corona times and these virus times, whatever causes there is that the world, the media is pushing to us, has been it has been fine for me when there was this kind of like climate change or anti-racism or against hate. We must stop this and that and everything. And I find that many of them, almost all of these kind of causes, hashtags, there's good intentions. There's first good intentions, and I'm open to discuss with people who disagree or agree or are for whatever. There is a big cause. It's like when I was little, I used to be much more how would I say, I want to live in Finland, and Finland is the best country in the world, and I want that my wife is Finnish, and I thought like that when I was 10 years old or something. And there was nothing against other countries or other people, but I was very close-minded, how would I say? And later on, I realized that this world is much more bigger and complex place that I could have ever imagined. And that led to me to open my mind, open my own world to others. And first, it has been really nice because I have learned a lot of different things about life and different opinions, different paths that people have been taking. And yeah, that's exactly what we have been talking about. Like, we must learn each other's basically life story before we can understand real life, where are the opinions coming from. But for the last 2 years, I started to see that no, now it's narrowing down. Now it's narrowing down, and I don't hear anymore so free opinions. I don't hear anymore so much this kind of like free discussion about the crazy world or whatever, and people are different. And I started to see that it's being politicized. It's the government is now taking a role in your discussion, what you're having on the dinner table with your family or with your friends in coffee or at your workplace. And I start to see that, of course, if you read history, this has happened many times in the time, and it's kind of like paradoxal thing. It goes with waves. But because now we are so obsessed and connected with this social media, and everybody can read basically anywhere in the world what you have put in your Facebook account or something like this, and they have never met you, and they can make immediately assumption that, oh, you're this kind of person because you think like that. And I believe that governments have had a big role in making us simple tools for them to vote for the right things and blah blah blah. And I don't know how much you feel about it, but I have really started to lose my faith in government. And I want to ask you that do you trust governments?
Seriously, I don't trust governments at all, because if we look at the history of elections and where the taxes of the citizens mostly go, the tax money, corrupt politicians, and decisions made behind our backs, I would go even that far to say we don't need governments, but we need communities. And we need people coming together, helping each other, instead of voting some people from who we think they can solve our problems. In fact, I mean, it's when you think of democracy, that we some kind of live in, or that okay, we live in a kind of democracy, but I think it's still an illusion. Still, this system is better than a fascist, a dictatorship, or some kind of dictators who really oppress the people, like in China, where everything is controlled. But still, I think the so-called democracy we are living in is still a kind of illusion. In fact, by voting, I believe that we give away our power. The voting system, for me, is an illusion of democracy, in my opinion. People get the impression that they can change something by voting, and it's I think we give away our power. I think we have forgotten that we are more powerful than just voting for someone. I don't know if you can get the, or I can,
Yes.
if people can get this thing what I'm saying, because the governments try to now it's really getting really complicated. I think we get the illusion by a democracy that by voting we can change something, and instead of, I believe that we give away our power. So other people can solve our problems. If we vote this person or that person, oh, everything is going to be right. And I think history has shown us that it's not like this. It doesn't matter for who we vote. It always messes up. If you correct me if I'm wrong, but the political situation in Iceland is much better than in the rest of the world, as long as I can see sometimes from alternative media.
Yeah.
And why? Because this country has only 300,000 people, and I think the smaller the community, the faster they can organize themselves, the faster changes can be made. They experience themselves more as a community. So that's why I say we don't need governments anymore. We need communities or small governments. Because if, let's say, we keep this democracy model, but then it should go for smaller communities, because if we vote some, let's say we only have a government for this city, a government for that city, and we vote for somebody who for the educational system, for the financial system, for healthcare, for the organization of all these topics, and somebody messes up, yeah, we can organize ourselves more quickly and take action so that maybe someone else is elected. But the bigger, it's kind of paradox, the bigger the society, the bigger a country is, the more we feel alone, the more people feel that they don't have actually power. And I think Iceland could be a new role model how politics or how society could lead into a different direction. I don't know if you watched the World Championship of the football game, or was it European? I don't know.
Yeah.
But Iceland, I think almost 80%, or I don't know.
The whole world was supporting.
The whole Iceland was sitting in the stadium and supporting their players. And I thought, and also when the players came back, they did a ceremony for their players, and I said, wow, what a kind of community feel. And don't get me wrong, it's not like that I say, oh, we have being a patriot, or I don't want to get into nationalism, because that's the shadow side of this. But it really touched me how they felt as a community, supporting their players, and I think that could have a lot of positive consequences. Also, when you elect somebody, or like these small governments, you have more control, or you can organize yourself more quickly if you have a smaller community. Because that's why I don't believe in governments that rule over, look Donald Trump, one president over 50 states of America, over such a big country. Putin, Russia is immense, is big. Or I don't know who rules now, China, but also China is immense. And there are so many people who would have the possibility to turn around the system. But the bigger the society, it's so paradox for me. The bigger the society, the more people feel alone, or that they feel they don't have enough power. And that's yeah, and the thing in Iceland, or also the lots of Scandinavian countries, I feel have a role model now in the world to arrange things differently. I think that's a new kind of a future we can choose for. So get rid of corrupt governments and really being more responsible for our own future, our own small environments, our own over people we meet, and building smaller communities where we really feel responsible for it, instead of giving our vote, our power away to people somewhere behind closed doors and hope that they will solve humanity or save the world. It's not working.
So that answers my question. That pretty much where I was going to ask you, that if the government says jump, and there are people who ask how high, and then there are people who will ask why. But I think that the majority of people is the first one, but which I think you're the latter.
I think I would say why should I do this? And to come back to your other questions, if we have a closer look on leaders who really did something positive in the history of time, or were even close to doing something positive. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I don't have a wrong information, but Abraham Lincoln, shot. John F. Kennedy, shot. Malcolm X, shot. Martin Luther King, shot. Mahatma Gandhi, shot. Even he with his passive resistance. Nelson Mandela, 27 years of his life in prison. And even if we take the classic example, Jesus, crucified. I have the feeling that humanity is not able to cherish good leadership. And I think it is time that we as humanity comprehend that every single one of us, every single person of us, has the power to change something, and that is not by giving away our vote, which means giving away our power, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's why it's very important to think about this next question. That are we, like you talk about that? Yeah, we need to, as a community, to get stronger, and also that we can realize that we can change and get rid of the corrupt system, corrupt governments. But are we free to do that? Are we free? I mean,
I think the best way to do to change these kind of things is not to protest and fight and rebel against, because I don't get me wrong. I mean, people going out on the streets and holding up signs and shouting, it's actually a better action than just to stay at home and accept everything. But I think.
But I agree with you. I just want to say that I agree. Yeah.
Peaceful disobedience, peaceful resistance. Like I would rather see people on the streets just sitting down and meditate with each other, and so having signs in front of them so the government or the police can see what they're demonstrating for, but really being in connection with each other. I think there were a few demonstrations where they really sit on the ground and with a social distance, and they also marked with with stickers their own kind of territory, but they just sat down and be quiet and just silence and meditation. There was also, I don't know where actually it was, but it was a scientific experiment. They tested mass meditation in areas where they had lots of crime. I think it was somewhere in the United States of America. And on that weekend, they really tested that there were less crime, less rapes, less aggression, exactly on that time where people really meditated with each other in that particular area, because they are connected, their peaceful minds together, and it had such a multiplying effect that there was really really a change. And I think this is just to us to say, okay, until here and no further. We don't follow the rules, but we just sit here and we just resist, passive resistance, instead of fighting against each other and fighting the police. And that's just then the shadow side, and we don't get anywhere, because you cannot kill violence with violence. Because it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I think. And
what I also was thinking about when you say if we are free, I think we can even go much further back. When you ask me if we always have a choice or are we free, I could say yes and no, because I believe, if we take it a little more global and spiritual, I believe that we have many lives, as I also said, whether on planet Earth or on other planets in different galaxies. And every wait a minute. Can you see me again?
Yes.
So okay. So every time our soul chooses a new life with a new body and a new personality, we also have a new mission. At least that's my belief. And this mission is like a kind of blueprint. In every particular life we lead. Every particular life we lead, we have the choice to follow the path of this blueprint or not. First of all, you have to remember what that mission actually was, and I guess that we get lots of signs from different people. I call them earth angels, who help us to remember and push us in the right direction. For example, I'm totally convinced that the entity called Carsten is designed to lead a life as an artist and not as a bank accountant or the president of the United States. And because I feel that I'm on the right path, because I love the things I do. It just feels right. And speaking of earth angels, Michael Jackson was my first call. And my second call was the director of a ballet school who gave me advice to break up with my psychology study and audition for a dance academy. So I always had the choice to say no, or just remember what was my mission, what was my path in this particular life. So do I follow the blueprint? Do I follow that, or do I also remember what was my plan in this life, or do I choose something totally different, but which might not work out? So we always have a choice in that kind of. We are still free human beings, free persons who always can decide to go left or to go right.
Yeah, I think that I will follow with my next question, that I think, what we choose, of course, we have a choice. We always have a choice. But I think most of the people, I'm not saying most of the people, like 90% of the people, but at least on my opinion, more than half of the people in my life don't know it, because they have been brainwashed. They have been brainwashed to think that there is this golden ticket line, that you get the golden ticket after you have waited in this line for 20 years. After that, you get golden ticket and you get to this ride.
Yeah.
And then this ride will get you somewhere. And after this ride, you will find happiness. And most of the people die during this ride. They never make it to anywhere. Some of the people, they get there, but they're disappointed because it was not what they were expecting. And then I feel that many people really are seeking for some like the ultimate perfect way to live their life, and that's why they are giving in to the brainwash that we are getting, like you said about the commercials. Perfect body, perfect life, perfect smile, perfect happy money.
Yeah.
You get the everything. And I think it's all brainwashed. What do you think? Are we brainwashed?
Yeah, going back to your question about the matrix, what I also said, next to the matrix we are living in because of our limited senses, I believe that there are some artificial realities being produced by the governments and the people who are at the very top of this hierarchical pyramid. As I said, there's a lot of manipulation going on through the TV, radio, newspaper, advertising, social media platforms, magazines. And I think the more of this this noise you have around you, the bigger the chance you get brainwashed to a certain degree. Instead of looking into yourself, asking yourself, what is my way? The way that most people follow. From school to university to building a family and blah blah. Is this really for me, or is there also some other way to maybe step out of the system, or in which way could I choose that I am happy? Because
Carsten,
there is no.
If you don't have money, if you don't have house and lover and everything, you're a failure. Don't you know that? You're a failure in life. You have failed.
This is also a matrix that is produced, because I was also a time ago, I actually before the Corona thing started, I was actually feeling guilty of having free time, because everybody is like, oh, if your calendar is full of appointments and this, wow, you are a productive person and great. And now I think, why? Because time is luxury. It's so important to have free time and doing the things you love. And even if you are lying on the couch being lazy and watching a movie or reading a book, you should cherish, you should worship these moments. But having enough time, having enough free time is not the matrix that we are because you said, if you don't have a family, don't have enough money, blah blah blah, you are a failure. So many people think of this in this particular kind of way without asking themselves, do I need actually a lot of money, or do I need this and this and this, what I always see in the commercials and always see in the news? Do I really need this? What really makes me as the entity I'm living now in this life, what makes me really happy? I think most of the people don't think about this, and I hope that also Corona was a chance for so many people to really reflect on, okay, now nothing is possible anymore. Now I have to sit. Now I have to pause the rat race. I have to stop the rush of everyday life and reflect, okay, the life I have been leading until now, is it really the life I wanted to lead? Is it really or is that maybe something else? And speaking for myself, I wasn't. The first 2 months of the lockdown, I have never been so creative in my life. The list became longer and longer. what kind of things I did. I wrote new songs. I did tutorials. I had ideas for different photo shoots. And for me, it was like, yeah, I'm happy with my life. And now I even have even more free time to do the things I love to do. And now, the funny thing is, because so many people, everybody on this planet had to step down and pause the rat race. I feel not so much guilty anymore having free time, because now everybody experience what it's like to have free time, and maybe and hopefully also
good point.
Cherish that this is not the life that we led is not only the only thing. There are so many other possibilities, but I think it's a big topic about what is legal, or that in society, or that there's so many expectations that we are that are pressed into our own lives, that we don't even have the time to think and stop what I really want to have from our own life.
Yeah, and it's kind of like stressing about pointless things. Like one of the things that I knew already when I was like 10, 11 years old, that if I want to be a dancer, it doesn't really give, it's doesn't really matter what do I get from my school grades. I don't want to be in biology, so I mean, doesn't matter. If I want to learn it, then I learn it. And it's not like I was a good student, wasn't never like the highest student, but like I did mine just because, well, we are sitting here in the classroom, so might as well use the time to learn this. So I wasn't like rebel in that way, but I also knew that I'm not stressing about it. I'm not stressing about my test for chemistry, because I try to be fine with it, but doesn't really matter for me like what happens with that. And I think like that's what's happening right now is the opposite, that people, like we talked already before, you said it, that we get these kind of like false goals in life, like, yeah, I have to be like this,
I have to do this, I have to, exactly. You don't have to do anything. You just
exactly
have to be happy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would we're starting to get closer to finishing up, and just to get for one last very kind of like topic that affects today and recent times very much, and going back to the government thing, and this stress that is put upon ourselves, and we have to I see there are messages now from media and government saying that soon we have to do many things so that we survive. We have to get vaccinations, and my point is, I have vaccinations on myself, and I'm pro vaccination for many things, but when you say that we have to, that's the thing that scares me. Then we are told that cash is spreading viruses, cash is bad, it's old, we have to go to digital numbers and stuff, and we have there already, my grandmother in Finland for the last 6 years has told like it's almost impossible to do anything with the bank, because the banks are almost like disappearing around her area. There is maybe one branch that is open with physical people. My grandmother is not is 6 years old, doesn't have apps in Finland.
In Finland?
There is not,
that surprises me.
There basically everything is put in online. Hey, use this app for online banking, use this site for online banking, everything is online. And if you go to those one or two branches that have open door and there's physical people, to deal with you, the lines are crazy. And this has happened already like many years in at least in Finland.
Okay.
Here in Japan, it's better. Yeah.
Interesting to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, there is a lot of talk about like, can we really go all the way to cashless society? And these kind of things like vaccination, mask, you have to cash, we have to go to digital, we have to have soon a chip so that we can prove ourselves to be good people, vaccinated. We have some kind of rating system where they can see that have we been in jail before, can we be trusted, and we have to show everything to the authorities that government has put in outside to question us. So what's your thoughts that like in future, maybe if I was 16 and I stole one time, I was 16, I was stupid, I didn't do it. This is just a this is just an idea. Like, let's say that when I was 16, I stole a bunch of stuff from one grocery store and I got convicted about it, and I had a something small penalty from it. And after that, I have changed my whole life. I have become like much better person. And at 32, I lose my job at whatever, let's say I'm an English teacher or whatever. And the times are tough and I'm trying to get job. And finally I land a job at this grocery store, and they're like, hey, okay, finally I can
you
get
betrayed
this.
us.
And then they just, oh, we just have to scan you. And they scan you and they're like, oh, and you can't. And then actually it doesn't stop there, but then the people will start to spread it around that this person you shouldn't work with because we scanned. Do you know what we found out?
Yeah, this is such a dangerous thing if you really take only this this thing into consideration, and it's like a criminal record. Even if you are becoming a better person and really leading a desirable life, this can cause more harm. One incident, and it totally takes away our freedom and our being controlled. As I said, the situation in China, when I was watching that documentary, I almost couldn't believe my eyes. I heard from that situation in an interview, also with David Icke, and then I watched the documentary and I said, oh shit, this is really real, what he was talking about. And yeah, I try not to fear and to worry about so much about all these mandatory things, because the more you fear something, the bigger the chance that we all attract these things into our own reality. But it is essential that we stay awake about things that happen behind our backs. We still have to be awake. Okay, what's really going on, without fearing so much. Because if we fear it too much, then the chance is that it becomes bigger. As I also said, don't fight against it, but just say peaceful, no, we don't accept this. Also, people who are higher in this pyramid, even some politicians are just like marionettes. Also, the police. Also, in the higher range of the pyramids, there have to be people saying, okay, no, we don't accept this. Soldiers throwing away their medals. I also saw a video of that. They said, we don't accept going to war, killing other people because the government told us to. Police take us, wait a minute, oops. Police taking off their helmets on demonstrations, saying, okay, no, we don't fight against these people anymore. We are in the same soup. We are sitting in the same boat. Simply resisting, passive resistance. yeah, our biggest weapon is not protesting and fighting against rules and measurements. As I said, peaceful disobedience and simply and collectively saying no to certain rules, regardless of all kind of punishments we could receive from the governments and the police. And I know it's hard to say, it's easy to say, because when I was informed a few weeks ago that you get that you have to pay money if you're buying in the wrong supermarket, then I was also afraid that, oh shit, oh okay, what happens to me if I buy in a supermarket in a different city, because the people should stay only at their home or at the closest supermarket. And I thought, my God, where is this going to end? I also could have said, no, I'm not afraid. I'm going now to St. Johann or to another place and tried if I really get punished. But I was also afraid in that situation because of getting a fine and maybe paying 80 euros, because I had one or two people from my landlords who had to pay this fine. And if you get this in this situation, there is, to everybody, it should be the peaceful resistance to say, no, I'm not paying this fine. I'm not paying this money. I'm only doing my groceries. That's not, and then after that, I'm going back home. Boom. Do you want to charge me for that? Do you want to handcuff me, or do you want to throw me into jail because I am in the wrong supermarket? That's ridiculous, actually. But the fear is the biggest enemy in all of our heads. Yeah. And this is the biggest virus. But if we do this collectively, again, look at Iceland. What they have. They feel as a community. They feel not so alone. If somebody decides to be disobedient to the government, to be disobedient, following not the rules, immediately there's the fear. Okay, but if everybody does it around you, really in peaceful resistance, there's no fear anymore. The fear is gone because everybody does it. Yeah, and that's the thing.
But I'm gonna just throw this at you. Like, what if, about what you said about the store and everything, that you are not able to go certain stores because they are the wrong stores for you. Yeah, let's say like you get arrested for going to the wrong store, and you get a marking in future for that, and then your social credit goes down, and the government will say that, oh, now you can, like, you get fired, you don't have your job anymore because the government is pushing those places to punish you, to get you out. Let's say you still somehow survive, you still find a way to get money and livelihood, but then things get stricter, and then now they're saying like, oh, but now there's this new virus and you have to take every year a new vaccine to enter different places. And if you don't take it, let's say you don't take it, I wouldn't take it, if it's not very clearly researched and shown that this really helps, then I'm all for it. But if it's like just like that, and then people are forced to do it, if there is no choice, I smell shit. And I say no, you say no, and then you get letter from your landlord or whatever area, and they say that you cannot live here anymore because it's illegal. You get arrested if you live here without a vaccination. Then you're pushed out of your home. You can't find any place. Everybody's
it's the worst like, case scenario.
Yeah, but how can we avoid this? This is my last question, but like with throwing at you, I have one more. But how can we avoid this? Because I really feel that this is coming.
Yeah, this is really the worst case scenario. And I think also when you say that my landlord or some other people are living said, okay, you cannot live here anymore, then it's also to them to be disobedient, peaceful disobedient. Also, not accepting the pressure, not accepting mandatory things. I think the higher you go, the more you go, the higher you go on this pyramid. For these people, I think it becomes even, how do I say, it becomes heavier. Or for example, our ballet schools. I talk to different ballet schools. They are in fear to get closed or paying fines if they don't have the disinfectants in their studio, if they don't follow the social distance in the studio. Yeah. They are in fear that they lose their whole school, their whole business, instead of saying, no, we just don't do it. We follow our own rules. We follow our heart and our common sense. And I understand. I mean, I will teach a dance workshop in Germany soon. It's a wonder that it happens. But the restrictions in Germany are so heavy. They even say you are not allowed to heavily sweat in the studio because you can spread the virus. And then it is to all owners of ballet schools or fitness studios to not accept this. But it's so hard because the fear is, what will happen if I do this? Am I going to lose my business? Am I going to lose friends? Am I going to lose? And it's so hard. And I'm not an exception. I'm not exception. As I said, I also was fearing that I get a fine if I buy in the wrong supermarket. So I drove with my landlord to the supermarket where it was allowed, to not challenge this situation. I said, okay, are there possibilities to not get into this situation? But also in my brain, sometimes there's fear of what I think stupid fear. Why? Because we are so much more powerful than people tell us to be.
Yeah. I mean, when we talk together here and open our minds, you tell your truth, and we find common ground on many things, and we get excited, we share energy, like you said, like if we would be in the same room, probably the roof would be on fire, fire. But all this couldn't happen if we would not be genuine. And I really feel like
if we're not what?
Genuine. If we wouldn't be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that you have a gift also that has sprang up to life, what you said 20 years ago, when you had the red pill, that can inspire other people to find their own way to think, live, laugh, say. And to those people who are wondering what you have just told, how much does it affect you when you know that for sure there are people who think you're crazy when you say these things? There are people who say that you're a horrible person when you say these things. But there are people who say that you're a wonderful person for doing and saying these things and loving people. But how much does it affect you when you talk and think and live what other people think about you?
Because I'm a very highly sensitive person. It affects me a lot. I I even cried three times, but in the movie called Finding Dory, or I don't know how it's called.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's a children movie. I cried 3 times. I was the only one in the whole cinema. Unfortunately, it often feels like a tightrope walk for me to find a balance between talking freely and speaking my own truth, and on the other hand, consider the reactions I will get from people. And a while ago, my director told me, Carsten, be careful of what you post on social media, because
Really?
you still want to be booked for dance workshops, right? So don't be too political or share conspiracy theories. And then I think, okay, I'm totally happy with my director, but she was only concerned about my future. I mean, I don't have to be afraid that I lose my job with my director, but she was only concerned that if I post too much in that direction, I will not be booked from other people. And on the one hand, I think, yeah, she's right. But I think, yeah, of course, I want to continue teaching and inspiring people and with what I do. But I find it so sad, Bill. I find it so sad that we still live in a time where we have to undergo negative consequences in our career when we use our freedom of speech. And that does not feel like freedom anymore. And to be honest, I did not find a satisfying solution for this dilemma yet. On the other hand, I also become more and more conscious about what I post, and I ask myself the question: do I really want to share this? Is this really necessary for people to read or listen to? And or when was the last time I shared something controversial? Because if you do this too often, bang bang bang, this was also the years ago when I really posted one thing after another, then eventually nobody might listen to you anymore. But it's so I didn't find a satisfying solution for this dilemma. And like I said, it's like a tightrope walk. Of course, I want to be booked for dance workshops or photo sessions and whatever in the future. My art and being inspire other people is very, very important for me. But on the other hand, it's also important for me to speak my truth, to have to be consistent in my freedom of speech. And yeah, there are also some. I also had a very interesting conversation about a lady who booked me in January in Frankfurt. And we also had a political conversation like we have now, and we disagreed in so many things. But she said, "Don't worry, I can divide your artistic stuff from the political thing."
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
So I'm not getting affected from what you say now. So it doesn't affect our. It doesn't affect our business relationship in the future. I said, wow, if everybody could act like this and really divide, like, okay, you have a different religion, you have a different spiritual belief, you have a different political opinion, and how it doesn't matter how controversial it is, it doesn't affect the other area. But there are also people who said, yeah, like behind my back, I also heard when I had my heavy period where I said heavy period. No, it's when I had my heavy time being very, very political. Then somebody said to me, "Oh yeah, this lady doesn't want to book you anymore." She said, "Oh no, let's don't hire Carsten for this dance workshop. He's too political." So there are enough people who really cannot make the clear line between that and that. And then, yeah. And of course, I asked myself, yeah, maybe it's not my way to teach at that place, because if people are like wired that kind of thing, that maybe I could be thankful that I'm not teaching there. I don't know.
You will find something better. You will find something better, I think, eventually.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Well, for the last kind of combined, I mean, you're like, yeah, the energy flows even through the webcam and this
Yes.
talking, and you're full of it, is as a very positive, energetic, self intellectual person. And like I said, I mean, this conversation also is just because I want to talk with another person who might bring me some more depth in life and its meanings by your wisdom, your experience in this earth and what you have thought. And it's never about that I want to talk with you because I want to agree with you. We seem to have a lot of common ground, but I would be as fascinated to listen to you as any other energetic with positive energy, as much as they would have a different opinion or whatever. I don't matter. I want to hear this, and it's very important to people to hear this kind of talks. For the last part, I really wish that you keep saying aloud because like I still thank you that video what you made, and which I still will of course put in the description so that people can check it out. It really spoke me some kind of truth that I was not able to conduct myself in my brain.
Okay.
So thank you for that. And just teach me one more thing about your life. What keeps you motivated to live this life throughout? What keeps you staying like on the search for the like, I want to live my life the way I want to do it? And do you have like positive message or whatever message for humans now?
So when you ask me what motivates you or what motivates me to go on with my life, I realized also a lot of during these Corona times, my mother and stepdad, which I really miss right now, because I was not able to visit them for half a year, and I realize how much I love them. And unfortunately, I will visit them the next week because now the borders are more open, and then of course all my closest friends, whether they are around me or far away. And last but not least, my art and the people who I conspire with my art. And if I wouldn't have any of these things, there would be no more reason for me to go on with life itself. Then I would just be a hollow machine walking around. So I think I realized that what I do in life, in creative things, and also the people who I really love are so important. Because yeah, if you are isolated for yourself and you cannot go outside, or you cannot go over borders in another country, then you really comprehend how important other people are really to hug, to see, to really, like, and not just on the screen. And I think, yeah, that motivates myself to really go on with this life, because it's so precious. And yeah, the last message for people, if I can give something, another positive thing, is don't focus so much on the past and on your problems, because the past is gone. You cannot do anything about it anymore. I know that's very easily said. I was also a person who focused too much on the mistakes and the pain of the past. But I'm now in a different situation, and I can advise everybody: discover your real talents. Discover what really, really, really makes you happy in life, and follow that path. And on this path, try to worship and take care of your friends and the communities where you really feel like being home, because it is so important to realize that you don't have to walk this path alone. There's no matter which path you follow, you are not alone. Maybe you feel alone at this moment, but there are people out there who follow the same path, or you cross each other's paths. And that is very important, that you don't feel alone, because the more you feel alone, the more you get the chance to feel powerless. And instead, you are so, every one of us is so powerful, but we have to remember what we really can do. Yeah, and how do you realize this path in particular? It's really by visualizing. Visualize, it's like also a kind of word game. Visualize your own perfect future as detailed as you can, and with the most positive emotions you can feel, as if it is already real, as if it already became your own reality. And it is an energy of today with which you can create your future for tomorrow. And you can do that with daily practice, meditation, or constantly reminding yourself that you are the master of your own life. It's nobody else. And I can also advise everybody to follow a few meditations or documentaries and interviews of Dr. Joe Dispenza. He really talks about this kind of thing, because this is a perfect example of how you can create your reality despite of the worst circumstances. Because he was one of the guys who did some kind of sport, and he broke several vertebrae, and the doctors told him he would never be able to walk again, and without an operation. But he resisted an operation, and I think for 6 months he was just unable to move, lying on a bed, and constantly trying to get himself into this positive state of mind. And now he teaches workshops. He talks all around the world, and he's the perfect example that no matter in which kind of situation you are the master of your own reality. And I also remember that the other doctor who said something about the immune system, Dr. Bruce Lipton. Yeah, if you want to have very inspiring other people also talking to you, or that you really want to listen to, it's Dr. Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe Dispenza. Really two so inspiring, positive people that really can remind ourselves that we are not powerless, but we are extremely powerful beings. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience. It's the other way. We are spiritual beings having this human experience. It's the other way around. And most people forgot this. They think, oh yeah, I'm just a human being, and what can I do? And I have to follow this path, and I have to. Instead of asking ourselves, what really makes me happy, and what can I do with my life to stay happy and inspire others?
Yeah.
So, what more can I say?
That's really a fantastic ending for this, and thank you, Carsten, for speaking your truth. And
wow, I get really emotional now.